Hello, everybody, and welcome to Branding Your, well, Sharpening Success by Small Business Branding webinar. A whole new concept that we are setting up at Branded for small business owners to help them identify and really make their business boosting with success. And I am super happy to have with me today a very special person that I'm going to introduce to you at a later stage. But first of all, when you're getting into this webinars room that we are in, there are a couple of things that I would like to start with. Number one, just so you to know, when I'm speaking, there is about 20 seconds, 30 seconds delay in the broadcast. So when you'll probably hear me a little bit later than when I'm speaking. Due to that, it might feel a little bit awkward sometimes when we're doing something that should be active and live. So please just take that into consideration. Secondly, I welcome you to use the chat box that is right there on the right-hand side of your screen. Why don't we start by introducing ourselves, our names, and where do we come from, and so that we can really get accustomed to who is actually on the line and to whom are we speaking to. So with no further ado, while everybody is getting into the chat room and getting started, I think that I would just like to start by welcoming our very special speaker today. No other than Monique Blockseal. She is the founder of the Business Launch Portal, which supports startup entrepreneurs worldwide to rocket their ideas into enterprise. Monique is also an international speaker, a trainer, coach, and a published author. She won the Public Speaking Toastmasters competition twice on European level and has shared the stage with motivational speakers like Cheryl Roche and the leaders in the US Foreign Minister John Kerry and the Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Her weekly Business Launch Radio shows regularly attracts thousands of listeners from over 30 countries. Now, I know Monique from our joint association of transformational leaders in Europe, and I can share with you a lot of the other things that she's not even mentioning in her intro here. Before Monique became an entrepreneur, she was working for almost 15 years in different international leadership and positions in marketing and change management. There, she learned how many employees, from support staff to top manager, they do not live a fulfilled life as they have not chosen to work out of passion. So it became her mission to help people realize their business dream, also by helping them to craft their own irresistible story. And that's exactly what is her expertise: how to craft your pitch, your message, and make that the golden key to your business success. So I say welcome, Monique, to our very special webinar today.
Thank you so much, Runa, for this sparkling introduction, first of all. I was looking around my shoulder, looking if there's someone else sitting here. But I really love your initiative, and I love your events that you're planning in September in Iceland. And it's my wholehearted honor and pleasure to be part of the fabulous 8 that you brought together, so that we really, we have a shared mission, sharing with others what makes it a strong brand. And yeah, it's wonderful to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, my pleasure. It was never a question. As I said, I know you from ATL Europe, and one of the things that I immediately noticed as part of your brand character was how fast and interesting how you go about when you're pitching your pitch. And can I just ask you the first question here? And by the way, folks who are listening, feel free to post your own questions as we go ahead with this webinar. But my first question to you, Monique, can you tell me why and how did you become such an expert in pitching your pitch?
Sure, I think this is a wonderful opening question, Aruna. And well, I have to say that probably when I was a small girl, I was pitching much more powerful than what I am today, right? Because I think even when we're children, we know what we want very, very well, and we know what we need to do and how we need to say things to our parents, right, to get it. So basically, I think each one of us has every single day the need to bring our message across in a powerful way. So I realized early in my life that this is a powerful skill to have, to know how to craft what you're saying to someone else so that we get what we really want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also another passion of mine is really speaking, as you might have realized. We know each other a little bit already. And I joined a worldwide organization called Toastmasters about 9 years ago. And it was incredible for me to see, not only for myself, when I joined them, I was not as elaborate on stage as I am today. 9 years do make a difference. And I also saw how other people, once they started to become more sophisticated and more developed on how they bring their message across, how they develop not only their business success, but also themselves personally. And the third thing that is probably having the biggest impact on my own business and the business launch portal is that I realize that there's so many people out there that have wonderful business ideas and even already started out businesses, and then they think, oh, I need money, let me go and pitch to investors. And the way they pitch, even though their business concept, their business idea, the potential product they're about to build is powerful and impactful and will make a difference to the world, it's very hard for them to really bring across what their latest app or their software or their new product is about and what problems it will solve in the world and what difference it will make. Like last year, for example, I was in Malaysia and there was an event that was part of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. And they brought together about 500 young entrepreneurs at the age of 18 to 25. And in less than 48 hours, these young kids, not kids, but young people, they actually did not only come up with a business idea, build a business concept, created an app, programmed an app that was App Store ready, so they had a product to sell. They crafted a website and a Facebook community and so on in less than 48 hours. Where they started to struggle was when they had to present their business in front of a jury. So a lot of these teams came to me saying, Monique, we really have this wonderful thing, but we don't know how to make it visible with our words to pitch in front of the jury. So I realized that for most entrepreneurs, it's hard enough to build a business concept and so on. But when they need to start going out and speak to potential clients, investors, partners, whoever they need, they speak a language that is so complex and complicated that no one gets the beauty of their starting business. So this is why I made it my mission and my support to share what I learned over quite a few years and applied, and help starting entrepreneurs to use it so that they can make it visible what they're bringing into the world.
Yeah. So what you're saying is really, it's easier to come up with an idea, put it all together in a short amount of time, and really create this beautiful business. But not knowing how to pitch it or how to communicate that's really the thing that's going to either make it or break it for you.
Absolutely, yes.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Why don't we start I see that people are coming into the room, and why don't we start by checking how much experience do our audience have pitching their pitch? I think that it's going to be interesting to see with our audience, where are they? Are they pitching pitch their pitches, their business pitches, or whatever they're doing? Are they doing it regularly, or are they feeling comfortable when they're doing it, or are you just watching others doing it? Where are they basically? It would be nice to see if people would take a little vote on that and see where we are, so that we see the final. Really, we see where we are, our audience yet. Tell me, Monique. I really like that story about entrepreneurs coming together and creating that one business case there. What would you say are the key elements for a great pitch?
Well, I don't know if you have ever seen. Have you ever seen people pitch, Runa?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Have you seen these pitches that start with, "Hello, I'm Peter, and I'm here today because I have this wonderful app that you've been waiting for your whole life"? Have you seen these type of pitches before? Once or twice?
maybe even 3 times. If I really.
Well, and that is exactly how most people start their pitches, right? They say, "I am this person. I'm a programmer, or I'm a software developer, or whatever, and I have this app, and let me show you what this app does." And then they, go into, a lot of detail around the technical aspects and so on, right?
Yeah.
But let me give you what I call a secret formula that is really worth pure gold. And these will be the elements of what makes it a pitch a powerful and impactful pitch. So the first thing is the hardest, right? So the first thing that you need to actually start with is you need to create, like what you do in fishing. You put a hook in the waters, right? So the same with pitching. So you need to, at the beginning, start to trigger interest. You need to, ideally, if there were 20 pitches before you, you need to make sure that your audience forgets what they've heard before, right? You need to bring them into the room. You need to make sure that they stop twittering, that they stop thinking about what will I cook tonight for dinner. You want them to be with you, right? So this is why you need to start with a hook that is not your name, because they don't care really about you. They care about themselves. You need to either tell a story that is grabbing them, or you ask them a question that connects them with you, right? So let me maybe give you an example in terms of a story. Once I heard a lady that is helping people to start crafting their own stories, and she started to give her story on how she actually, it's one night woke up and the house was burning, and how she was really rescuing herself at the last moment and so on. So she started to tell this story instead of saying, "Well, I'm a storyteller and I'm doing this and I offer you this," but she was telling her story at the beginning. So people were there with her in that story, like in a good movie. They were feeling what she was going through. They were seeing pictures on their mind. And this is the type of hook you could create. Tell a story that grabs people and that touches their heart and mind. Or ask them a question. Like, for example, we could have done today at the very beginning, have asked people, how much experience do you have with pitching, right? So people start thinking about what you're saying and you connect with them. So the hook is the first thing that you need to set. The second thing is, of course, you want to introduce yourself. And the funny thing is, especially in Germany, where people look so much at their own CVs, right? I mean, people that are speakers and trainers on presentation skills, for example, I see them going on stage saying, "Oh, originally I was a gardener." Well, what does that have to do with your business today, right? What you need to do is make it relevant and introduce yourself in a way that you make clear why are you the right person to talk about what you will be talking about. Make it relevant. And speak to them from eye to eye. So don't give them an impression that you are far ahead of them, right? Make sure that they connect with you and they see that what you are achieving, they can achieve as well. So introduce yourself in that way. And then when you've introduced yourself, the third thing is the most important one that I can share with everyone on this webinar today. Once you have set your hook, they are with you, and they know who you are. What you need to do is you need to sell your problem. So the key trigger word is problem. A lot of people, they go and talk about what they have, even before they have solved their problem. You always need to sell your problem first. And there's a great quote from a guy called Joel Roberts. And he is saying that when you're selling something, there's only two problems in the world. And it might sound difficult, so I will repeat it. But there's the problem that you want to, there's a problem that the people in the room basically have, right? The problem that they have already. And then there's a problem you want them to have, you have the solution to, right? So if they don't have the problem that you want to address with your product, you need to make sure they get that problem, right? So first you need to sell the problem and then the solution. And one great example I have here is, and you can all look it up afterwards, on YouTube you find the video from Steve Jobs where he introduced his iPod for the first time. It happened already more than 10 years ago, and it's still one of the most powerful pitches you can ever see potentially, until another Steve Jobs comes along. And what he did is he introduced his iPod with very simple language. And he was not saying, oh, it has as many gigabytes and it has whatever. And he was really saying, you can put 1,000 songs in your pocket, right? And you can load the songs faster than you can switch the CDs from the Walkmans that we were carrying around at that time with. And after that pitch, he was addressing these problems. You know, that you have to carry around CDs, that it's big, that it's bulky, and so on. So he addressed these problems in that way. So at the end of his pitch, everyone was throwing their Walkmans into the bin, and everyone wanted his iPod, right? So you first need to sell the problem before everyone gets open to hear how you're going to solve their issues and their problems, right? So first you need to solve the problem, sell the problem, and then you can come back and say, what is the solution? What is the product you offer? And there's another important element on the pitch, which a lot of people forget, which is you always, always, always need to close and put in at the end a call to action, right? So if you're pitching in front of investors, you need to say, I need that much money for this and this purpose, right? And you can invest in me in this and this way. Talk to me afterwards, or sign up on this website, or whatever it is. But don't forget it. A lot of people get people see the problem, feel the problem, they want to buy your solution, and still they don't know what they should do afterwards, right? So these are the most important elements of a pitch, and of course you want to close the pitch in powerful ways. Ideally, you end with a connection to the beginning. So if you started with a story, make a connection to that story. If you started with a question, go back to the answers that maybe people gave, right? So these are the most important elements. So you start with a powerful hook, and you then introduce yourself in a relevant way to what you have to present. Then you sell your problem. Only then you can start talking about your solution. And then you put a call to action at the end and close in a powerful way. And this formula it sounds simple, and it's the hardest thing for a lot of people.
So, when you're saying this, so basically what you're saying, you have to, in your story, it has to be something that links to emotion, so that you feel, oh, I like you said with Steve Jobs, I don't really want all these chunky things that I have here to listen to my music. So you have to craft a story that is interesting than right from the beginning. Am I getting this right?
Absolutely. You need to bring these people into your story. You need to make them feel part of it, right? For example, when we go and watch a movie in a cinema, right? It's not only that we are sitting there and we are aware that we are sitting there at that moment. We are becoming part of that story, right? So you need to bring people into the story. You need to make that story, describe it and tell it in a way that they become part of the story, that they feel like they're waking up in a burning house. Or they feel, if you want to sell them a presentation training, that they feel the applause that they get if they're great presenters, right? you need to touch them emotionally and bring them into the story to really make them see what you're talking about.
So true, so true. And that's what you've been doing with your business launch portal, is really you've been helping people crafting that. And tell me then a little bit, when you come to Iceland, and I can't wait to have you over here in Iceland in September 6th for our Small Business Branding Day. I know for a fact that you're actually going to have a little workshop for our attendees there, how to craft their pitch. Can you tell me, I mean, what are the solutions? What are you going to make things happier for them, or make their lives happier or better for them after that workshop?
Right. Well, Runa, the first thing that I can promise already, what we're going to do in this workshop is what, of course, we cannot do right now, is have people actually craft their own pitch as they go along.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not, but in 45 minutes, we're going to get them to think about their own message, their own pitch. And we're going to invite them, and at least some of them, to even eventually pitch in front of the whole audience and get feedback from us. And doing it this way, in a very interactive way, every one of them will learn. Every one of them will have a pitch that is much more powerful than what they came in with. That promise I can make. And you asked me as well, how will it impact their life if they have a more powerful pitch, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you one thing, Runa. I guess that you have once tried, or maybe several times, tried to sell something to a potential client.
Mm-hmm.
And you sold something, you were entirely convinced that this is exactly what they need. And they said, no, thank you, Runa, not for me. Do you know that feeling? Right.
I know it. Yes.
Okay, great. I think we all do, as entrepreneurs, we all know that moment, right? So the question is, would you like to have these no moments reduced as much as possible, the other way around? Would you like to have almost always yes moments when you talk to potential clients?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
I would like to see how many of our audience would say yes, please. I would like to get more yeses than no's. And I see it on our chat room. How many would actually like to get more yeses out of their pitch than no's? Please just come up with and just allow us to see where you are at, because I think this is so important. And what you're just saying that as well, when it comes to your personal brand, because that's what I'm all about, those first 7 seconds that you're pitching or you're interacting with someone is so important. So your pitch is such a big part of that. Do you get people's attention, or will they just zoom away and do nothing? So please feel free to let me see how many of you that are on this call would say yes, please. I would like to get someone. There are people that are out there who are tired of the no's, but yes, please. Sandra says yes, and Tamar says yes, and I would like to see many more yeses out there. Yeah, Katie, I hope that I pronounced this right. Yes, Svana is saying yes. Yes, you would like to get more of that. So it's really, really, really important. I so agree with you, and I like how you set it up, Monique, in a very step-by-step, easy process. That I believe the way that you're saying it, and I believe when we do this live here in Reykjavik, Iceland, on September 6th, then you can see the structure, and you can basically use that same template. Can we call it template?
Yeah, you can call it template, or you can call it, a formula. It's almost like a formula, right?
Yeah.
And it's a key to get more yeses from not only clients, but also investors, also partners to support you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get your message out there and you show people what difference you want to make to the world through what you're offering, why you're doing it, not only what you do and how, but why you're doing things, that will make all the difference. And people often forget that business is done from person to person, between people, right? And if we make ourselves heard, not only up here in our mind, but in our hearts, we build such more strong connections, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And speaking of connections and the whole concept on that our special day in September, there are gonna be 8 of us doing those little mini workshops, and I'm so lucky to have you as my first one that I'm interviewing to help put potential people who will attend the actual webinar, the actual seminar day. Sorry. To allow them to get to know you and to know all of our speakers a little bit better. Then tell me another thing, and while I am, because of the little delay that we are handling always with the webinar jam here, if people have question for you, please feel free to put it into the chat room. While the questions are popping in, I have one question for you, Monique, and I bet you get this question all the time. But can you share with us a couple of do's and don'ts when you're crafting your pitch?
Yes, absolutely. There's the rule number 1 that I mentioned already is, first of all, sell the problem. Sell the problem first. Before you're not 100% sure that the people in front of you, either your clients, investors, or whoever, feel and see what a problem is that needs an urgent solution, they will not be open to listen to what you have to offer. So always sell the problem first and then the solution. Also, I gave an example of Steve Jobs earlier, and he did something beautiful. He was speaking about 1,000 songs or 10,000 songs in your pocket. He was not talking about gigabyte or loading speed or anything like that. So try to avoid any jargon that normally we use. Often when we're experts in a certain field, we speak a very technical language. We use abbreviations like KAM, like for Key Account Manager or whatever. Don't do that. Make it simple. Make it easy. If you're not sure if your pitch is understood, grab a 10-year-old boy or girl and give the pitch to them first. And check if they can follow you easily. If they can, your pitch is ready to go out to the human race. Okay? Another thing is, and I see that often, and I'd like to also make another bridge. I'm not only talking about live presentations here. When I talk about pitching. Pitching is every time you give out the message about who you are and what your business is about. And that also applies to websites, for example. So most of the websites that I look at, people say, I am offering this, and I am this and this person. Don't do it again. Follow the formula that I introduced today. Focus on describing things from your audience's perspective. Tell them what is in it for them, not what is in it for you. Tell them what they will get and give them the end result. If you want to sell, for example, a beautiful holiday on a Caribbean beach, well, make people see that beach. Make them feel like they're sitting on the beach and there's a sweet guy, offering you a nice cocktail or something. Don't talk about the way there. Don't talk about, oh, we also have nice airplanes that fly you there. No. You want to place them on the beach right away. So these are a couple of do's and don'ts. And Runa, you know what? I don't want to spoil the whole fun. I give more once I'm coming to Reykjavik.
Exactly, and that well, and I can't wait. There are a couple of months to go, but in Reykjavik, I know this is going to be your first visit to Iceland, right?
Yes, it will be. And can I say something about this, Runa? Actually, it's incredible, but you make me incredibly happy to come over, because Iceland, I don't know why, but it has always been on my list very, very high up. I always wanted to go to Iceland because of the beautiful things I heard about the nature, the wonderful people. So now my dream comes true. Looking forward to come over.
Well, isn't that amazing? And that is, I was in Paris last week. We were pitching for Iceland as a destination to do for conferences. And the fact of the matter is that Iceland is such a centerpiece. I mean, we're in the North Atlantic Ocean, and it takes 5 hours to fly from New York or the East Coast in the U.S. It takes 2.5 hours to fly from London. It's literally not that far away. So people are flocking in here, and great. We are very grateful for all the wonderful people that are visitors that are getting in here. So on September 6th, where we will have you, Monique, and we will have in total, like I said, 8 speakers who are going to give the 8 steps to sharpen your success as a small business owner. We are going to give the tools that we know as business owners ourselves is so needed when we really want to step into our business and let our business grow. So therefore, I actually think that having someone coming over like you and having even people that are coming over from all over the world to Iceland to join us is just a fabulous thing. But I have a little extra thing a little announcement to make right now. Are you ready for that, Monique?
Absolutely, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. You see, the whole day, September 6th, which happened to be a Saturday, so we thought, okay, why don't we make this a Saturday so business people, they can come to Iceland, they can spend the weekend, make it both a training weekend and as well explore what the country has to offer. So we put this all into one day, and actually the value, can you just imagine the value of having a good pitch? I was just thinking about that, Monique, when you were giving us the structure. I thought, wow, if I would have known that would actually have saved me a lot of time getting all the no's that I was getting a bit too used to. The value of that it's priceless to be able to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's absolutely priceless.
Yeah. So, but and having 7 other really, really high functioning workshops to attend, we thought, okay, what we want to do is to do something that is spectacular. We want to do something that is unique. Coming to Iceland is a unique experience. And how much can you actually put as a price tag that? I'm sure that it's worth zillions to do it, and the return on investment is above the zillions. I don't have the amount in my head, but we decided to make it pretty worthwhile for everyone. So we created an offer of going for the whole day for only $497. And what we want to do today is, however, something that is only going to be for the early bird sign-ups, because we want people who are committed, who want to come, who want to just go all the way, who are small business owners, who are on a high fly, that they can actually save lots of money and build their business with confidence and clarity. So the whole offer is to come, save $200, and only pay $297 for a full day seminar. And I know this is almost ridiculous. So it is ridiculous. So I would say this is the opportunity to come, sign up, reserve the day, and start checking on Icelandair or WOW Air or any of the airlines that are coming to Iceland at this point, and get your ticket over here and make September 6th really a day that is going to be memorable with me, with Monique, and with the 6 other speakers that are flocking over to Iceland for this unique event. What do you think? What are you mostly excited about, Monique, about the day itself?
Well, I'm really, really excited because, first of all, I think it's a hugely generous offer. Thinking about that, each one of us, right? I mean, we get paid hundreds, if not thousands of euros for a one-day session with our clients, right? Yeah. However, if I think about 297 euros or dollars even, right? It's even less than that, right? It's
Yeah.
incredible. Think about it. Even from my own workshop, if you're gonna get one or two more yeses from clients, right, they would compensate that amount already by far. And I know there's so many more incredible people there. I mean, you, of course, Runa, you are our star. You are our branding expert, right? How to create a powerful brand, talking about how to manage and deal with your finances, and so on and so on. And there's incredible topics from incredible speakers. I can't really wait to come over and meet everyone that we have here on the webinar over there in Iceland. And it's priceless, and I'm speechless.
You're speechless. I know, I know. But here, this is the catch. Do it now. I say to people, just do it now. Go ahead, reserve your seat, because the thing is, we want to make this special. This is not going to be an event that we're going to put in hundreds of people. It's actually going to be selective. It's going to be people that are really fast forward thinking, who want to go all the way, and who want to do it from their heart. Because I know that that's one of the things that joined us originally together, Monique, was our passion to do things with a purpose, with passion, and have a real mission in life. And I know that helping others to find their own mission and become successful from that is something that we both have in common as our passion, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So people, press that button. And another thing before we go, which I think is really, really something that people should look at, because I have been so fortunate to work on several little projects with you, Monique, and get to know the people that you are helping out to create their businesses in your business launch portal. So I tell you, go to her website. It's actually right there on the screen. Check it out and see if this is something that is exactly what you've been waiting for as well. Just take along and just check it out, as the button says that. If there are any questions at this point, I would love to hear them and see them. I'm just going to check if there are any questions. There are. I'll get one question here that is a private question that has popped up to me, and that is, when does this start on the September 6th? And it's actually, just to answer that, it's a full day. We will start at 8:30. We will end at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a day that is going to be packed with micro or mini workshops with taking you through the 8 steps to sharpen your success as a small business owner. So I can answer that right here and now. Monique, you're still there?
Yes, absolutely. And I just like to point out something that Bjarne said when we asked the question, would you like to have more yeses from your clients? And it was said, me, 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 me. So I love that one.
Yeah. Yeah, she would like to get more yeses, and I think that comes with all of us. With that said, I would like to thank you, Monique, so much for participating in our webinar, in our first webinar out of 8. Tomorrow we will have 2 webinars, actually. It's going to be one at 2 o'clock Reykjavik time and another one at 4 o'clock, where at 2 o'clock I'm going to be interviewing Herdís Paula, who is the CEO of Peacock, and she is really the one who can help us out on how to lead your company with confidence and clarity. And at 4 o'clock Reykjavik time, I'm going to talk to Thorana, who is absolutely the expert when it comes to small business branding. And we're going to be talking about how to strategize your social media coverage, and she's an expert in that. With that said, I would like to thank all of our participants for joining us today. Monique, love you as always. See you in Reykjavik, September 6th, and hope to see everyone who is on this call tomorrow and the following days that we are going to have all these different webinars coming up. With that said, au revoir, or bless, bless, like we say over here in Iceland. Make your magic.